tradition, festival, heritage, religion. All of these and more factor into major cultures of the world, including those of South Asia, Latin America, and East Asia. Though these components create vivid and colorful backgrounds, can negative outcomes emerge from such varied ways of life?
South Asia has many beautiful examples of culture. Let's take a look at festivals, common cuisine, and dances. Let's interview our resident South Asian consultant, Meg Kodali. So what are some festivals of South Asia, and can you give us some examples?
Sure. So a major festival of South Asia is Holi, which is known as the Festival of Colors or Love. And so there's a really interesting origin story behind the Festival of Holi. So there was a god named Krishna, who we have pictured here today, and his wife, Radha, who had a very fair complexion. And so Krishna was very, very jealous of Radha's fair complexion because he had really dark skin and it was almost black. So, and you can see how this kind of carries over to today and how people of lower caste with darker skin are discriminated against and how fair skin is valued because of stories like this in Hindu history. So, going back to the story, Krishna was really jealous of her fair skin. So Radha, out of love, she allowed him to put colors on her face to symbolize that she was as dark as him. And so this tradition kind of carried over to today, where Holi is known as the Festival of Colors, and people go around the streets like shooting paint guns and throwing colors and stuff like that. And while it seems really interesting and fun today, you can see how it kind of had this dark history that's still a major problem in the world today.
So how does South Asia's culture influence the cuisine?
So the cuisine of South Asia is deeply rooted in the traditions of the region, and the recipes are often passed down from ancestors or past generations. Also, the availability of ingredients determines whether certain castes are able to afford such foods or not. And a major food of this region is dal, which is used widespread around the region. And it's made out of lentils, which are cheap and easy to afford for people of all castes. And it's often consumed with rice, which is also easy to afford for all castes. And this recipe has been a part of this region for years.
Common dance of South Asia.
A really important dance of South Asia is Bharatanatyam, which is commonly performed in India. So in Bharatanatyam, the costumes are very interesting. The dancer usually sits squatted, and a fan is spread between their legs that spreads when they squat. Next, they usually have bells on their ankles so that it'll make noise in rhythm to the music that they are performing. And Bharatanatyam was often performed to please the gods. So it was a really important example of dance that was performed in the higher castes who believed that they were closer to God.
As you can see, this is a fascinating region, but a major issue that still happens today is the legacy of the caste system, which has been abolished, but it still has lasting effects. How does society influence the caste system based on race?
Well, the caste system was formed because people with darker skin worked as laborers in sunny fields, which caused them to be seen as inferior to those with lighter skin who were seen as upper class and closer to God. This message is still carried on today through the societal stigma against dark skin.
So how have the mindsets of the caste system era carried on today?
The Dali people are denied access to some places of worship, and it makes it difficult for their class to be able to achieve upward mobility, because many profitable places of work deny the jobs.
So, what has the government done to stop this discrimination, and what improvements can be made to the strategy?
The government has set aside reservations for members of the Dali community, but unfortunately, these boundaries often aren't recognized, and the rights of these people are still infringed upon. I believe that in order to solve this issue, more recognition is needed, such as rallies and media attention, for people to acknowledge it as an important problem.
Now, let's move on to Latin America. This is a varied region filled with many colorful examples of a fascinating culture. Specifically, this section will focus on customs and food. Let's interview our local Latin American consultant, Reina Diaz, for more information. So, what's an important Latin American custom?
A quinceañera. It's when a girl turns 15 and they have like an entire party about them becoming of age. Like for instance, they have like a dress that's really poofy, and like they also have a dance with like with their father, and they hold like a doll that resembles them in the dress, and it's called La Última Muñeca. Okay, so this was like the time, the age that men will start looking at women, thinking that they're available because they're becoming of age. So it kind of like make them lose a little bit of power, like of dominancy.
So, what are common ingredients used in Latin America, and what dishes come out of it?
One of them is rice and beans. Like for instance, we use rice in like tamales, and like there's different types of tamales, but like in general tamales. And sometimes we use them for like caldos, which are basically like soups. And beans, we also use them for like tamales, but they're usually eaten with tortilla for like breakfast. Rice and beans are really common. Like they're grown in their own garden, so like they're really nutritious. So it's easier to make them in dishes like tamales and frijoles.
In Latin America, a major issue is gender imbalance. This inequality based on the social constructs of Marianismo and Machismo has led to sexual assault, sexual harassment, and rape, and therefore the spread of HIV and AIDS. Widespread drug usage among mostly male gang members also increases the instances of such rape. This is a huge obstruction to these countries to guarantee safety and basic human rights to all of their people. Today, we have the opportunity to speak to a few Latin American locals about this issue. How do Marianismo and Machismo contribute to rape and sexual assault in Latin America?
Men are encouraged to be dominant over women and are taught to display their masculinity, principles of machismo. Because of Marianismo, women have less say over their own body and taught to be submissive, cook and handle smaller household issues. This creates a huge gender imbalance and therefore leads to sexual assault.
I think that this problem is still left unresolved.
A major contributor is government apathy, which is caused by gang influence that often corrupts officials, leading to many unprosecuted criminals and unaccountability for sexual assault, which is not recognized as a major issue. Also, many women choose to leave violations unreported because it is seen as scandalous, and impurity goes against the principles of Marianismo.
How do you think this issue can be resolved?
The best solution to stop high rates of sexual assault in Latin America would be strict government enforcement. If these crimes are punished, it prevents others from doing the same due to fear of consequences. Also, stronger feminist movements and distribution of self-defense tools could help fight against violent machismo mindsets and allow women to be more protected.
Although Latin America is a distinct region full of rich culture, the issue of sexual violence still pervades these countries.
Finally, now let's discuss East Asia. This is a region filled with dazzling traditions. Let's interview our local East Asia consultant for an overview.
What is a popular custom celebrated in East Asia?
New Year's is celebrated in very similar ways throughout the region. Red envelopes of money are given to friends and family, and many people visit places of worship, including Buddhist temples, as Buddhism is a major religion in East Asia.
What is traditional theater like in different parts of East Asia?
In Japan, kabuki theater is a common ancient art that is still performed today. Men play nearly all parts, and many colorful masks are worn. In Mongolia, two types of theater have been present, separated by upper and lower class.
The culture of East Asia is a vivid array. However, government censorship prevents the region from sharing its culture with the rest of the world. Censorship prevents citizens from expressing their opinions via the threat of death or imprisonment. Internet firewalls also restrict the media. This takes away many rights from the people and alienates East Asia from the rest of the world. Let's talk to a few extras for more information. How has pop culture been influenced by East Asian censorship?
Many governments strictly control expression in culture. North Korea has banned music other than nationalist propaganda hymns, with extreme consequences for violations. China bans YouTube and has strict internet firewalls, while media is practically non-existent in North Korea.
How is censorship damaging countries of this region?
These countries have an oppressive, authoritarian influence and harm not only their own people's rights, but harm their ability to grow and support the needs of their citizens by hindering the spread of democracy and globalization, which damages their economies and food and resource security.
Culture is a deeply rooted, essential aspect of all these regions. But out of it, many problems can arise. We hope you now have a deeper insight into the ancient tradition and current issues of these countries. Thank you for watching this documentary.